You will never be a man until you learn to break the rules. I don't mean breaking the law. I mean the rules you were taught by your parents, your school, your boss, the media, and society. You have to break free from being that good little boy that always does what he's told. But aren't rules meant to keep us safe and make life easier? Yes, but there's a catch. If you learn to follow rules for the wrong reason, you will be stuck being the nice guy, yet feeling angry, resentful, powerless, and miserable. When I was very small, I became a rule follower. I became that good little boy that always tried to follow the rules, listen to teacher, listen to my parents, and stay out of trouble at any cost. I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but I learned that I needed to obey in order to be loved. Gabor Mate talks about children when they're very small. They can't understand the world logically, but when some kind of stress happens, either to the parents or to the child itself, it develops some kind of coping mechanism. And for some of us, the coping mechanism is to just follow the rules, because a baby knows that he depends on the mother and the family for survival. But if that child does not obey, then he will not be loved. And if he is not loved, then he will be abandoned. And if he is abandoned, he will not be cared for, and he will die. And the way to protect against this abandonment is to obey, to make sure that he receives that conditional love and do what he's told. But this conditioning, happening at such an early age, creates a permanent mark that carries on through the rest of life. And it's not good. Maybe for you, being a good boy meant getting good grades. Maybe it meant keeping up appearances or never talking back, no matter how much verbal abuse your parent or someone else was hurling your way. Whatever it was, you learned that you needed to obey to survive. And to add even more to it, a lot of us, including me, had a family that split. And now your mom has a set of rules, and your dad has a set of rules, and your school has a set of rules, and so on and so on. And so no matter where you go, there's someone telling you what to do. And you learned to survive. So it doesn't matter if the rules keep changing. It doesn't matter what the rules are. You just need to obey. You just need to go along with whatever anybody's saying and not cause any problems. But this lesson that you learn at home, it becomes a reflex. It becomes something that you do automatically. And so you carry that throughout your life as you get older. Now, whenever you're around someone at work, on the job, at school, your teachers, now you are going to continue to follow, because when you don't follow the rules, you get anxiety, you get worried, you feel almost like you're gonna die. And this is because you are trained to obey for survival. When you're young, you need rules as guidance to keep you safe, but you also need to start spreading your wings, trying new things, figuring things out, because you want to become your own person. But if you are so scared of being disobedient, so scared of rejection from your caretakers, you are far less likely to spread your wings. You are far less likely to experiment, talk to new people, try new activities. You want to stay close to home. You don't want to do anything that might go out of the norm. You don't want to run the risk of breaking a rule that you didn't know about so that you can avoid that feeling of rejection. As you grow older, now you will start following the rules of your teachers. You'll start following the rules of your friend group. And then later on when you graduate, you'll start following the rules of your employer and society in general. But you're following these rules because you're afraid of being kicked out. You're afraid of making a mistake and feeling that rejection, of feeling unloved. And when you've been living your whole life trying to do the right thing, trying to obey the rules and follow things through, listen to your superiors, you start to question who you even are. Who are you? What do you care about? You just feel this emptiness, like you've been living your whole life for others. And on top of that, you start to become resentful. You start to become angry at other people that you see in your life and in the world that are not following those rules that you have in your head. In the book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, these covert contracts are pointed out as the cause for most of the anguish that a lot of nice guys feel. And of course, a nice guy is what a good little boy becomes when he gets older. This social contract that if you act this way, if you do these things, then I will act this way and I will do these things. That illusion is broken because you've never actually had those discussions with people. You've never actually made a contract and agreed with all the people around you because they aren't you. They weren't raised like you, and they don't have the same experiences that you do. And you become frustrated and angry at the world for not living up to the standards that you have been so desperately living up to. You need to spread your own wings, but instead you've been moving from one nest to another nest. What you need is to build your own nest, to make your own rules, to live your own life. And what's kind of funny about this good boy syndrome and always following the rules is that some rules for living in life, you're not exactly sure how you even acquired them. No one ever sat you down and taught you this is the way you should do things. It just unconsciously happened over years of experience. One of the imaginary rules that I had for myself was when it came to interacting with people, especially in public, that I didn't know. And I felt that it was rude for me to talk to strangers because I was maybe inconveniencing them or wasting their time, or that I was holding up the line if I was going to talk to the cashier and maybe just have a little chat with him. I felt that I was inconveniencing the very person that I would be talking to because maybe they had something better to do. And of course, this didn't help with talking to new women either. Other rules that you might have for yourself is like, it's weird to go to the movies by yourself, or it's weird to dress up nice and go eat at a fancy restaurant by yourself. Probably no one ever told you that, but you feel like that, right? I know I did. What if you started examining your own life and the rules that you follow and ask yourself, why do I do that? Why do I think this? Is it because someone else told me I should do this? Is it because I accidentally just assumed that this was a good way to live and never really thought it through? You're starting to become a man when you start examining your own life. I think it was Socrates that said, an unexamined life is not worth living. And I happen to believe that it's very true, because if you are living a life that is unexamined, you are literally following a path that you've never chosen. And you are not really living your own life. You are living somebody else's. You are just simply living as a reaction to the people in the world around you, instead of living with intention, instead of living with a purpose, living with meaning that you chose, that you have thought about, that you have contemplated, that you have decided, you know what? This is what I should do. This is who I want to be. This is the set of rules that I think is right, that makes the most sense for me. And that's what it means to become a man, is that you are no longer a little boy simply blindly following rules that your parents gave you, even if those rules had good intentions and were meant for you to follow them to keep you safe, is that you follow them because you have now decided that they are good, not because other people have told you. How do you make life your own? You start breaking the rules. You start trying new things. You're used to staying inoffensive, not mentioning your opinion. Now it's time to break that rule and start speaking up for yourself. You only shop at this place because it's the cheapest or it's the closest. You only buy clothes secondhand because they're still good clothes, right? Start breaking that rule. Get exposed to new things. Try things out. Start trying new rules on for size. Start making your own rules and giving it a shot. It wasn't too long ago when I finally decided to start breaking out of that shell of old rules and old beliefs that had kept me locked up and made me into this angry, resentful, bitter, nice guy. And I started breaking the rules. I started talking to people, making an effort. I started changing the way I dress, the types of food that I eat. I started changing my physical fitness, literally changing my body. And I started reading books, and I started learning and started studying what it means to, be a man, what it means to live a good life. Started studying philosophy, all these things that I had never even considered, all these things that I had never even thought that I would like. I started working on it, started trying. And in a very short amount of time, I started to build a life that I actually wanted, a life that actually gave me satisfaction. And it's all because I decided to start breaking these hidden, unspoken rules that had slowly but surely grown into my psyche. And to give myself permission to break those rules and to give myself permission to live my own life. And you can do that too. Don't stay stuck being that good little boy. Don't become this old and bitter nice guy. Break the rules. Grow and become your own man. You won't regret it.